Welcome to Work Better with Ale in 2024. Hey, I'm Eric, and a very happy new year to you, to your family, to all around you, and I hope that 2024 becomes a great ale year for you. I know it will for me. I got lots of stuff planned on my apps and on the channel, and lots of things going on, and I'm very excited about that. But I can also see that my list of stuff I want to do is very long. So I have to be efficient. I have to actually be better. I want to produce more than I did last year. And I want to produce it better and all those words. And the only way I can do that is to make sure that the way I do stuff is actually the best way, the most efficient way. And back in November at Directions in Lyon, I did a session on debugging. And debugging is, of course, that's a corner of what we do. I debug all the time. And I got slightly off track in that session for a couple of slides. And a lot of people ask me about actually the things around those couple of slides. So I thought that would be a great video to kick off 2024 with. So here we are, and let me actually just get the first slide on the screen right away. Here it is. So what I'm talking about is the developer's inner loop. So when we talk about inner loop, that's like a very old computer science programming term. When you have a process, at some point in the center of process, there might be a loop. And since this loop is getting called all the time from all the world, this needs to be the fastest you can be. You don't want inefficient filters. You don't want to waste time in your inner loop, because the cost of something in the inner loop is compounding as further out you get. So the more efficient you are in your inner loop, the more efficient the overall thing is. And it's not only inside a computer, it's also how we work. And I have seen a lot of AL programmers do things where I don't think they were really not concerned is the wrong word. I don't think they were conscient about should they be doing stuff this way or not. They found a way to solve things, and they did. But in some cases, it consumes a lot of time. And if you pay for your own time, like I do in a lot of cases with my apps and so on, if I'm inefficient, I throw money out the window. If somebody else is paying for it, you might get paid for it, but does the customer really get the value they deserve for the work? So let's look at this drawing here. So this is the developer's inner loop, or actually the two loops, and which is the interesting part. So when I work, I code. That's that is what I do. Then something is building the app I'm working on. Something is then deploying the app I'm working on, and now I can test to see if what I did worked. So I debug, and then I figure out that I screwed up. So I go back, I code some more, I build some more, I deploy some more, I debug, and this is the eternal circle. And depending on what I'm working on, I can be in this loop for days. And at some point, you have something you're proud of, you have something that works, you have something that solves the customer's problem, so you commit. Then you go out to the outer loop, and mindset wise, you're switching gears. So now this is not just heads down coding. So now you're in the outer loop, and in the outer loop, starts doing code reviews. We still build, because that's what we do. We deploy, perhaps at scale. We deploy to testing environments and so on. We run tests. We make sure that security and compliance and all that good stuff is on its way. And then at some point, we might go to even a larger circle, depending on how you guys are working, the companies, the structures, the customers, and so on. But your mind have to switch gears. So you cannot live in the outer circle. You cannot write 2 lines of code and then say, okay, now I'm going to run all my tests. I think Waldo just posted a blog about how long certain test processes ran on their app, and it was hours, right? So you don't want to, and go read that, actually a pretty good blog. You don't want to write 4 lines of code and then what? Then sit and wait around for thousands of tests to run in order for you to verify if those 4 lines of code were what you meant to do before you write the next 4. All that stuff needs to happen in the inner loop. There's a very famous there's a very famous cartoon called XKCD, and one of the most famous strips is the strip called Compiling. The number one programmer's excuse for legitimately, I can't say that word, slacking off. My code's compiling. Hey, get back to work. Compiling. Oh, carry on. And the great joke, but in reality, this means either one or two things. Either their inner loop is not very efficient. Their inner loop is terrible because there's time to actually play around while the stuff is building, or they keep creeping out and sitting out in the outer loop and not being very efficient. So my goal for 2024, I was just about to say 2022 for some reason. 2024, my goal is to stay as much as I can in this. Right. I want to code, I want to build, I want to deploy, I want to debug. And I want my build and deploy time to take as little time as possible to be non-existing if I can. And how do you do that with AL? Well, you make sure that you have a beefy rig. AL is hungry for memory, for CPU. So, you can make money for your company by getting a faster PC. And if you doubt it, please direct your boss to this video and let her know that this is what I'm saying. This is what I've seen. That there is a difference in a slow PC that might build your app in 25 seconds and a fast PC that will build it in 5. When you keep working in the loop, those numbers add up, and by the end of the day, you might have wasted an hour or half an hour or something just because you're working on a slower rig. So make sure you have the and of course I know that this might be out of reach for certain people, but if you are in the vast majority that are working with AL as a professional, and whatever hourly rate is, that is at least 3 digits in dollars, I think there can be room in any budget to make sure that you have a decent rig that you're working on. So build and deploy as fast as possible. Some simple tricks to remember. Let me see where I am. Here is Visual Studio Code. So this is the code from a recent video, and this one works on the customer list, right? So I'm goofing around with JSON. So of course I want to make sure that whenever I deploy, so from here I hit F5, it builds, deploys, doof doof, and now, well, it builds, doof doof, and now it's deployed. So those are fractions. It's single digit seconds. And I know this is like a 10-line piece of app, but it opens up the page where I'm working, right? I don't have to then go to the menu and navigate to the place, because you're again wasting your own time, and that time is way more valuable actually sitting in the loop and working, and not, oh, now I've deployed it and I need to navigate to the right page and find the right customer or what it is in order for me to debug. So this part of the loop, no, build and deploy, make sure you have a decent rig. Tell your boss, Eric recommended you gotta get a fast rig. Disk speeds are very important. I'm gonna do a video and let me know if you're interested in that. Microsoft are starting to create a special version of Windows that is optimized for development and optimized for a lot of small files. Like if you look in the Git folder on your machine, you see there's a ton of small files, so you need to make sure that you optimize for that. So that's coming at some point. Let me know if you're interested in that. When you're debugging, remember how to work with breakpoints. Remember that we have conditional breakpoints. Remember how to inspect stuff in the console and so on. Learn to be fast about that. You see how fast I operate the debug stuff when in my videos. And I don't try to be fast, but you can be fast. So beat my times. I haven't posted anything, but you get my point. And then the last piece, of course, code better. Another thing that I want to focus more on in 2024 on videos, that we need to talk about testing a bit more, because I have been very focused on algorithms and so on, but we need to include more testing, because of course the more testing you add, the less debugging you supposedly have to do. I think sometimes I think and code at the same time, and then sometimes I'm up in the shower and then I'm coding and just have to type it in. But you need to figure out your process of how you produce code, how you produce testing, and so on. And then when you have something, you commit, and maybe you are, hang on, let's see, how do I do this? That's not the slide you're looking for. That's the slide we're looking for. Then be aware, mindset-wise, when you're suddenly out in the outer loop, because then you need to behave differently. You need to think, okay, now I am doing something else. This might be a different way of, instead of just putting 4 hours in working on this, maybe you put 2 hours in working on actual, ay caramba, this is not going well. You're putting 2 hours in on working on the code, and then you're putting 1 hour in for code review and 1 for building and so on. So think about that. You're doing different things, and if you're in a billing situation, which lots of us are, then make sure your billing actually reflect where you are in the process of what you're doing. Anyway, that was a lot of words. Sorry. I'm hitting stuff all over the place. I'm looking forward to hear all your comments. I'm looking forward to be way more efficient in 24 than I have been in 23. There's lots of apps that I want to make. There's lots of new things I want to make add to our existing apps and for our existing customers and so on. And if you need more AL hacking, perhaps actually AL hacking, because this video was most chit chat and talking, check out this one. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.